The Bostonian is Matt Perrault.
This is our city.
The book is Dave Sharapan.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Together, they are the Bostonian versus the book.
You covered 12. I covered!
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus the book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sharapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
What's up, guys? How are you? Happy? Welcome. Yeah, that's the words. Welcome to a Fight Song Friday for the Bostonian versus the book. My name is Matt Perrault. We are live on our YouTube channel at Boston versus the book. The same on Twitter, X at Boston versus the book. We're replayed on Sports Grid Television and on Sirius XM channel 159 each and every night. We normally do Roll Call Friday, but we're going to pause it and we're going to do a Fight Song Friday. If you guys are old school radio people, back in the Pushing the Odds days, you remember Fight Song Friday. We're going to bring that back here for us today. If you don't know what Fight Song Friday is, stay tuned for that. You'll be educated as to what exactly Fight Song Friday is and how this is going to roll. If you are watching the show on YouTube and not listening on the podcast, you know that I am darker than normal. I had one of the all-time dad moments last night before I taped the Daily Juice, because my daughter, after I set these lights up here in New Hampshire, where I am at for the month of July, my daughter came barreling down and she knocked over one of the lights and it shattered. And I was furious, like most dads, like, come off of it. How are you not paying attention to what you're doing? How do you not watch what where your feet are going? And she was all really, sad and sorry, Dad. I didn't mean to break the light. And I know you need the light for the shows. And that stinks. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. So what did I do last night? I came barreling downstairs and I did the same thing that she did. I knocked over the darn light and it shattered. And the only way to get the light bulb that goes to this light is buying it for $15 on Amazon, because there's nowhere in New Hampshire that sells the darn light bulb. So I won't get the light bulb until tomorrow morning. So I apologize to our friends at Sports Grid. I apologize to you guys because we're not as bright as we need to be, obviously. So we're not where we need to be video wise. So I feel like now I am officially in the basement. So, yes, the one light has, there's not as much glare, but so I apologize that I am here in the darkness of the basement. Being in the basement is one thing, but being in the darkness of the basement, I thought I had kind of rectified it, but it'll be better for next week. So I do apologize. That was my fault for today. So I have to, Madeline's going to have one for me go, oh, so you're going to yell at Dad or yell at me, and then you do the same exact thing. So what does that say about you, Dad? I don't know that I'm a klutz like she is. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I don't know. So here we are. Okay. It's been a hell of a week. All right. It's been an absolute hell of a week. Here's yeah. This is exactly what I was said. Amanda said that to me as well. Why didn't you buy 2 or 3 of the light bulbs? Why'd you buy just one? Yes, I'm not intelligent. I shouldn't buy one-offs. Should buy more than one. So really kind of annoying. But anyways, it's been a hell of a week. So I told you guys during the opening line that my aunt passed away a couple days ago. So that was really stunning. We found out today Dave has to stay in Los Angeles for a while. Dave will be discharged from the hospital at some point next week. So he will stay the full 7 days like they thought he was going to need to stay 7 days. So Dave's going to be in the hospital for the next 7 days at least. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, at some point next week, Dave will be in the hospital. But he's going to have to stay in Los Angeles for another week. They need him to stay to go over a battery of tests and be seen by the doctors still. So Dave won't be back to Las Vegas until some point, the 22nd, 23rd, somewhere in that range. So there's your latest update on what's going on with Dave. Jessica also has told me that they have not given him his phone. So if you're wondering why he has not been tweeting, like you would say, well, Dave is pretty active on social media, that's why. So he's basically zero dark 30 when it comes to all social media. So if you are writing to Dave, DMing him, adding him, whatever you might be doing on social media, he'll get it all at once whenever he gets his phone back. And my guess it's going to be like, well, he'll get the phone back after he gets out of the hospital. So that's the issue with that. And then my sister's birthday is tomorrow. My favorite thing about today, I'll tell you about that here in a little bit, but my sister had to be in the hospital last night with a stomach ailment that she's okay, but she's, I was talking with her about half an hour ago. And so she was in the hospital last night. So it's been a week. It's been a week for us here today. So happy to be here with you guys. I just saw Megan from Rhythm. Remember our friends, Megan? She is from Boston. I just had coffee with her this morning. So that was super cool to see her, to hang out with them. Rhythm's doing some great stuff. We're really proud of what Rhythm has accomplished in the way that they've gone. So really psyched to see her. And she wanted me to pass along hello to the brigade. And who knows, they may be popping back in at some point in time with us in the near future. So good to see her today. So there's a lot of things going on, a lot of moving pieces. So if you're wondering, why aren't you doing a roll call Friday? Well, that's why. We're doing it as a Fight Song Friday. We're bringing it back. In fact, the roll call will be something that Dave will do when he returns. So we're holding it until Dave comes back. So we won't be doing a roll call Friday until Dave Sharapan is back on BvB. And hopefully that is some point in August he comes back. If not, it'll be September, it'll be October, whenever. We're going to keep doing the show, holding down the fort until Dave is back. But Fight Song Friday actually is part of the opening line. We have the opening line and we have Fight Song Friday combined into one segment. All right, for those of you guys who are new when it comes to the opening line, what do? We start the show with a topic, with a rant, big topic of the day. Fight Song Friday means we play a fight song. And the fight song that we'll start Fight Song Friday with is Iowa State. Why? More on that in a second. But Iowa State plays Kansas State. Farmageddon, they call it. They're playing in Ireland. It's the week 0 game that everyone is pumped about. Everyone's excited. We're getting this thing. It's going to be a lot of fun in Ireland for Iowa State and Kansas State. But there's a bigger play here for the Big 12 that I think they need to be careful of. But first, the return of Fight Song Friday. All right, so as we know, the Big 12 just wrapped up the Big 12 football media days. And down in Frisco, Texas, the Big 12 again made some pretty big news. Mostly it's the head of the whole conference, Brett Yormark, who once again reiterated that the Big 12 is going to be an international conference. I think the Big 12 needs to be very careful here. As someone who covered the Big 12 for many years, when Nebraska was in the conference and Iowa State was in the conference, I covered it for 7 years. Been around it, watched it for a better part of 20 years now. What makes the Big 12 in my mind, and really this goes for college football in general, is the passion, the energy, and the overall atmosphere created by the people that love that university. Not just the sports teams, the university. I can't tell you how many people I watched who were not Iowa State graduates go to Iowa State games, or Iowa, they were not Iowa graduates going to Iowa games, or Nebraska fans that were not Nebraska graduates that went to Nebraska football games. They loved the sports team. but they love the university as much, even though they had never been in a college campus environment in that market. They love the school. They loved what it represented. And I never really understood it fully until I got a little bit older. And I looked back at my time at Creighton University. I never spent a single second at Creighton. I graduated from UMass. I like UMass a lot. That's my school. That's my alma mater. But in terms of what school do I think of when it comes to my favorite college program, it's Creighton University. It's the Blue Jays. It's the school. Yes, the basketball programs are incredible, but the whole community around the Creighton University product, the Creighton University, the Jesuit education, all of it, that's what really I think of when I think of my favorite university. Alabama might be second in terms of where I am with the Crimson Tide. UNLV comes in there all before we get to my school for UMass, the school that I went to, that my degree hangs on my, on the wall of my office. I think the Big 12 needs to be very careful here saying that they want to play consistently overseas. In fact, they had 2 years ago this big pomp and circumstance about playing Big 12 Mexico. They were literally going to play Big 12 Mexico. Go play baseball games. Go play softball games. Go play all of these different events in Mexico because the Big 12 has Texas. It has Arizona. It's got 2 states bordering America and Mexico. So they wanted to highlight that, and they wanted to go and showcase that a lot. But the thing that Big 12 fans have to grapple with is this idea that, okay, the SEC and the Big 10 have the big TV contracts. So in order for us to compete, we have to go find other avenues to make money. But sending Iowa State and Kansas State to Ireland is just one game. It's not that big of a deal if it's one game. That's not what Brett Yormark wants, unfortunately. He wants it to be a global conference. Quote, I want this conference to be a global conference. I think we can win globally big time. Do the fans want this? Do the fans want to see a global conference? Because the NFL is losing fans, or at least angering fans to the point where they're really frustrated about the number of international games being played. Every year, they're expanding. First, it was in London. Now it's in multiple cities in the UK. Then they went to Germany. Now they're talking about going other places all over Europe to send football games. And football fans are having to give up home games. Now they're saying, hey, we're expanding to 18 games so we can send these games overseas. So don't worry about it. You'll still get 8 home games. It's not going to be that big of a deal. You won't even notice it. NFL fans are pushing back. They're saying, okay, this is great. We love the fact that you're, trying to find new avenues to make money and to grow the sport. But college football is not professional football. And sending these kids consistently overseas, why are you sending baseball to Mexico? Like, what are we doing here? We're growing the sport. Why? Are we trying? Because college sports was always the front porch to bring in new students to go to school. I've told the story before, why I went to UMass. UMass won 5 consecutive men's A10 basketball tournament championships and regular season championships. And my freshman year went to the Final Four. So my 4 years in high school, John Calipari won, and it was like, I want to go there. I want to go to that school. That's amazing. Those games look awesome, and they were awesome for at least my freshman year. I saw Marcus Camby play up against Tim Duncan, UMass and Wake Forest. It was unbelievable. Incredible. Isn't that the point of the university? Or is it now a professional sports league? Are we now going to send everything overseas? Are we now going to try to globalize every sport that we've got? Because you have saturated America. And you feel like, well, we can't win here. So we have to go find other countries, other fan bases that are untouched, virgin territory. They've never seen Iowa State. They've never seen Kansas State. They've never seen anyone in the Big 12, Arizona State. They haven't seen any of these people. These schools can now walk in and they can leave an imprint on that country until they buy gear or they watch games. I don't get this idea where college football thinks that they need to be international. I don't think it works. I really don't. I don't think it works. I know it's fun to send 1 or 2 games overseas, and I'm not saying that this one-off between Iowa State and Kansas State is a bad idea. I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't think it's a bad idea when Notre Dame goes and plays in Ireland, or I don't think it's a bad idea for any 1 or 2 football programs every once in a while to go and play overseas. But that's not what Brett Yormark is claiming. He wants to have a global conference, meaning they're going to send everyone all over the country, all over the globe to play conference games and in tournaments and whatnot. That doesn't make any sense to me other than you're just trying to make as much money as possible. And I get it. These athletic departments, it's the wild, wild west. They got to make as much money as possible because they got to cut the kids in. They got to give NIL and they got to give profit sharing and all the new world that we are here. I just would be very careful. I would be very, very careful if I was in Iowa State, a Kansas State, if I was in the Big 12, a Baylor, because are we sure the product sells? Are we sure the product works? College football is incredible. College football on a college football Saturday is incredible because of the campus. The campus environment is what makes it so special. That's what's awesome about going to Ames or the Little Apple or going to Baylor, going to Waco, going to these places, like going to the Big 12, going to Tucson or going to Phoenix or going to, these places that have Big 12 schools. Like I know it's not incredibly fun to go out to Lubbock, Texas, but it's, the only game in town out there in West Texas. They're sure as heck spending like they're the big boy of the Big 12, and they think they got a team. They've thrown around money like crazy thanks to a billionaire oil guy that just funded everything for Texas Tech. They bought their whole roster. They're the new Miami. Miami bought their roster last year. Now it's Texas Tech. But do we need to take Texas Tech and send them to Italy? Like, do we need to send them to the UK, Germany, France, Spain? Like, why? like, what are we doing? I don't understand. We're not even talking about the travel and what it does to the academics of these kids. Like, we're not even discussing this. Like, it's not even a question. It doesn't even come into the debate as to whether or not it's a good idea to send the baseball team to Mexico City. Like, living in hotels and being on buses and everything else. I don't know. It's not even in the conversation. No one is worried about it at all. No one's even, hey, what are grades? Don't worry about it. We'll fudge it and make it work somewhere down the line. These kids are here to play baseball, softball, soccer. Like the soccer team going to Europe. Okay, that makes sense. Fine. Send them over to Europe to go play with them. The baseball team to Mexico? The volleyball team going to Italy? So I would be very careful. If I'm Brett Yormark, I would be very careful about this desire to push the Big 12 internationally. Not to say they're going to lose at home. I just don't think you're going to win as big as you think. And the travel, the cost, the time, the commitment it takes, the drag on academics, all of it, I don't think it's going to work out. I don't think it plays out the way that he thinks it's going to play out. And if you're a fan of a Big 12 school, get ready to lose your teams consistently losing home games to international schedules, at least in college football, at least in college basketball. I don't know. I'd hate it personally. Great for the media. Great for the fans who can afford it, that can fly over there to go to those international games. But to consistently lose a home game because the conference wants you to go play overseas doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Let's talk about what happened last night. All right, what happened last night? How about the New York Yankees and what they did last night? I mean, the Yankees were down 5-0 going into the 8th inning. They were being no hit. Like they were being no hit last night by Seattle. And then they came all the way back and they won the game 6-5. According to ESPN research, it was the first time in 236 games, that going back to 1977, for a team to be able to win after being no hit through 7 and trailing by 5 runs or more. Yankees rallied. Giancarlo Stanton with a pinch hit 2-run home run, which was a gigantic catalyst in that game. It didn't come without some controversy. Mariners catcher Cal Raleigh saying that there was potentially some pitches being tipped here, that Andres Munoz was tipping his pitches, saying, quote, he was tipping every time with a runner on second base. Obviously, they weren't making it very discreet, but it's part of the game. We have to know that better going into the series. It made it really hard there at the end. You can try to do the most you can without distracting him from what's happening at the plate. So that's something that we're going to have to figure out over the next couple of days for sure. Dan Wilson, the manager of the Mariners, disagreed. He did not think he was tipping his pitches, but that's something for them to figure out. The Yankees were 0-35 this year when trailing after 8 innings. They were 0-23 when trailing by 3 runs or more at any point in a game this season. So we'll see if that Yankee offense gets woken up by what happened last night. But that's a gigantic win for them. Staying in the American League East, the Boston Red Sox won their 7th game in a row yesterday. In the American League East is all of a sudden a wild situation. The American League East went from being the laughingstock of baseball, or at least one of the laughingstock of baseball, to arguably the best division in football. Or sorry, football in baseball. I don't know. It's crazy to see this because the Diamondbacks are 46-48. They're 2 games under 500, and they're in 4th place in the National League West. Everybody assumed that was going to be the best division in baseball. Well, the Red Sox are 5 games over 500. 5 games over 500 in the 4th place spot in the American League East. The Blue Jays are 54-39. The Yankees are 52-41. The Rays are 50-44, and the Red Sox are 50-45. I mean, you're taking a look at every team but let's take the Orioles and cross them out and throw them out. Every team but the Orioles has a positive run differential. The Red Sox at plus 56, the Rays at plus 66, the Yankees at plus 106, one of the best in all of baseball, at second best in the entire American League, only behind the Tigers, and the Blue Jays at plus 20. The Blue Jays have won 9 of 10. The Red Sox have won 9 of 10 and 7 in a row. I mean, heck, the Orioles have won 7 out of 10. They've won 2 in a row, and they're not playing horrible baseball. The Yankees are the one leaking oil the most. They're 4-6 over their last 10 games, and they can't wait to get to the All-Star break. But Red Sox and Rays go at it again here tonight. Big series, big win for Boston last night. Big opportunity for Aroldis Chapman last night to come in and slam the door shut. Red Sox all-star closer is having a career year at 37 years of age. He was great last night for the Red Sox. American League East is a formidable, difficult division, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch this thing going forward into the second half of the year. Cub fans, how fired up are you guys for PCA? Another home run last night for the Cubs slugger, 25 home runs and 25 steals. He hits that mark in the 92nd game of the year for Pete Crow Armstrong. Unbelievable. The 23-year-old recorded his 5th multi-home run game in his 92nd game of the year. That's the most by a Cubs player since Derek Lee had 8 in 158 games in 2005. PCA also became the 4th fastest player in Major League history to reach the 25-25 mark in a season. Eric Davis did it in 69 games. Alfonso Soriano did it in 91 games. Bobby Bonds did it in 91 games. Those are the only 3 Major League players in the history of the league to get to 25 and 25 faster in a single season than what Pete Crow Armstrong is doing for the Chicago Cubs. Again, he's not going to win the MVP because of what Ohtani is and what Ohtani has done this season, and the fact that Ohtani is going to be pitching for very soon for longer than 2 or 3 innings. So he's going to win the MVP. But if PCA was playing in any other national league that it wasn't for Ohtani, well, he would wind up being right there. I mean, he would 100% be the MVP, given what the Cubs have done so far in the first half of the year, racing out to a 55-38 mark. But the Brewers aren't letting them go. The Brewers have won 4 games in a row. Their 53-40 mark is tremendous. Cubs 55-38, 2-game lead, really bolstered by their home record, but the Brewers are right there behind them with a 30-17 record at home. Cubs are 30-16 at home. The difference is the Brewers are 500 on the road at 23-23, and the Cubs are 25-22. The Cubs have a plus 124 run differential, which is by far the best in the National League. The next closest best positive run differential are the Brewers at plus 68. Cubs have nearly doubled them up in run differential. They have scored 503 runs this year and given up just 379 runs, and they're doing that without Justin Steele. They've been doing it without Imanaga, who's been hurt. I mean, the Cubs right now, we're in for a really fun second half of the year in Major League Baseball with a variety of stories that are going to be fun leading up to the deadline as to who is going to be buying and who's going to be selling, but also who is contending and who is not. Because the wild card for the American League is wild, but the wild card for the National League is going to be a war. Brewers, Mets, Giants, Padres, Cardinals. I mean, the Cardinals are a game out, and the Padres are a half a game out of a wild card spot, and they're 50-33 and 50-44. I mean, they're not even in the postseason, and they're sitting there with a record of 6 games over and 7 games over 500, and yet they're not in the playoffs. So this is going to be fun. This is going to be a really, really fun second half of the year, and Cub fans should be pretty psyched as to what's going on right now with their team. Second half of the year for the Cubs. Playoffs coming, but more than that, maybe a deep trip into the postseason. And Cubs and Dodgers, National League Championship preview, potentially. It is time for our second installment, our second time ever doing it. It's time to cut it out.
Cut it out. Come on, cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out. Get out of here.
How good is that, Sonic? You're tremendous with that. Really good stinger with that. Time for Cut It Out, brought to you by our friends at Cut. Cut, the peer-to-peer social betting platform. It's legal in 40 states. This is a great way to bet against your friends directly. And if you're somebody who's looking for a unique platform, this could be it for you. Social betting, peer-to-peer betting, it's more fun to bet directly against your friends or other fans rather than a casino or a sports book. Track the bets you've made against your friends, and the friends cannot flake because all bets are pre-funded at Cut. Put your money where your mouth is. Better product than most. Bet on anything with a verifiable outcome, sports and non-sports. You pay a lower VIG, fully customizable betting and odds. Cut is more fun than your traditional sports book because, well, you can have leaderboards, you can chat with a friend group, you can have different user profiles. It feels like a social network, but instead it's just for bettors. Legal in 45 states, including most states without traditional sports books. You guys can go and check out Cut today at KUTT.com. That's cut.com, or go to the App Store and download it today and use the code BvB at sign up for a 10% bonus on your first deposit with Cut. This is a question that we all have to ask. Is it illegal? Is it stealing if they give it to you? If somebody gives you money in your check at your job and you decide not to say anything, Is that stealing? Because that is what's going on right now for an individual who is having to deal with being arrested. She worked at a horse clinic in Florida. She was the receptionist. She made $60,000 a year on that salary. Her name is Jessica Arua, 29 years old. She was arrested at the end of June for pocketing somebody else's salary, a vet who was supposed to be paid $400,000 a year. She was given the money in her check, and she took the money and used it. She used it to purchase a food truck for a friend of her mother's. She used it to build a house for family in Argentina. She sent it all over the place. When the police came to ask her, why did she take the money? She said she thought it was a bonus. She thought that the job was just giving her a bonus. And then it was for her work, that she was doing well. She said to the police that she had heard rumors that previous receptionists had received bonuses for saving money for the company. The police stated that the job, the $450,000 a year vet job, was supposed to get those checks, but that person, quote, did not monitor the checking account for deposits over the past year. Therefore, she did not notice that she had not been paid a salary until a few of her credit cards had been declined. Like, a part of this is going like, hold on a second. So you're telling me that you were supposed to be paid $450,000 a year, but you make so much money that you didn't miss $450,000? Like, you just didn't keep track of it at all. Like, no conversation. I'm sorry. If you pay somebody, that's on you. Like, if she had gone into it and stole it, okay, fine. Like, I get that. I totally understand. In response to being called out, the young woman wrote a cashier's check for $200,000 for the estimated $414,000 that she pocketed, but she claimed that she couldn't return the rest of it because she had given the money away and sent $100,000 to family in Argentina. They had thought it had been a gift from God. That money is gone. I don't think this is stealing. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? I think the cut it out part of it is, if you pay the wrong person, that's on you. If you pocket the money, I don't know, maybe I don't have morals. Maybe I'm a bad person. But if you're paid by your job, isn't it on your job to do that? It's your job to fix it. If you're overpaid in your check, I don't get that that's stealing. Like to me, that's like, she's arrested and facing felony charges for doing this. She remains in custody today. It's July the 11th. She's still in custody after all this. She can't post bond. She's been charged with grand theft of more than $100,000 or more and money laundering of over $100,000. Like, money laundering. This is, I don't believe this is money laundering. She's working at a clinic. Someone's giving her too much money. Her job is overpaying her. Again, if she goes into petty cash and takes the money out, yes, that's her problem. If she writes or designs something in the system to pay her, to overpay her, well, then yes, she committed a crime. But if she just opens up her bank account and she's like, damn, why do I have $60,000 more in here than I'm supposed to? Like, hold on a second. Are we supposed to go and say, hey, yeah, that money, why'd you guys give me that money? Why'd you give me so much money? Why do you keep on giving me money? That is illegal. That is, you're going to face jail time, like felony jail time for this. And you're going to be charged with money laundering if you take the money and send it to family and out of the country. Like, oh, it's gone. I can't do anything about it. I don't know. Fire her. Fine. Fire her. Say, hey, we want the money back. I'm not giving. She offered to give $200,000 back to the police. She wrote a check. Here, take the money back. I'm sorry. So, like, that's an admission of guilt, I guess, that she knew it was wrong. I would have been like, well, what do you want? Like, you guys paid me. Did I pay me, like, magically myself? Do I have access to pay me? The cut it out portion of this, to me, is on the employer. It's on the employer. Figure it out. A reasonable person would ask or should ask. Okay, maybe. Fine. Reasonable. Criminal is the question. Criminal. A reasonable person. But is this criminal? She's facing criminal charges. Major, $100,000 or more money laundering is a felony. Like, she's facing real jail time for this, for doing this. I don't know. If they give it to you, did you steal it? I don't think she's a criminal. Again, fire her. That's fine. Say, hey, you're fired. You kept the money. You're fired. 100%. Yes, fire her. But you're going to put her in jail? Again, she's still in jail. She's still in jail. After all this, she's still in jail. Don't think so. Cut it out. Brought to you by our friends at Cut the Social Sportsbook. Go check them out today. Use the code BvB for a 10% bonus on your first deposit. Time for just the picks. All right, let's get into it. And there's a couple of games here today that I think are really interesting. And I'm going against the grain here on this one because it's School Bowl day with Seattle and the Tigers. So on most games, you're going to say, okay, bet School Bowl on the run line, which I think is a decent play, but School Bowl on the run line is -120 because Castillo is on the other side. Luis Castillo's been very good. He's 5-5 with a 3.31 ERA overall, but he's been great. His last start out against Paul Skeens and the Pirates, 1-0 win. He went 7, no earned runs. The start before that, he went 6 innings, gave up 1 earned run in a 6-4 win in extras over the over the Rangers. So the Mariners, coming off of that horrific defeat last night, you know that they're furious about what happened against the Yankees. And so now they're here continuing on this road trip. Now they're against the Tigers. So really tough ending to the first half of the year for the Mariners to go from the Yankees to the Tigers. So two best teams in the AL, arguably back-to-back on the road to end the first half of the season. So I get why you might go ahead and jump in and say, okay, take the Tigers. But I'm going to go a different route with this. I'm actually going to take the first 5 over in this game. First 5 over is 3.5. I'm going to go over 3.5 because Seattle hits lefties really well. They are top 12, actually number 11 in baseball in average up against left-handed pitching, and they're top 10 in RBIs up against left-handed pitching. I think they can get a run or two off Skubal. Now, Skubal's gone back-to-back starts with 0 earned runs, all right? But the last time he was this dominant, he gave up 4 earned runs to the A's at home. They won the game 11-4, but he went 6 innings and gave up 4 earned runs and 2 home runs. Maybe Cal Raleigh could run into one here and get a 2-run home run. I believe that the Tigers will score 2 runs themselves. Like, they'll get to 2. The question will be whether or not Seattle can score 2 runs up against Skubal. And again, he hasn't given up any runs in his last 2 starts. So it's a bit of a play about, hey, let's go and see if we can get some offense here out of a team that can hit lefties. And we've got a home run hitting 36 home runs out of the leader in the clubhouse at the moment for home runs in Kyle Raleigh, who is a switch hitter. So he'll flip around. He'll be a righty. So, and he's been very good on both sides of the plate. So that's this is legitimately like a bet. Like, you can talk about theory. You can talk about trends. This is a bet. Like, I'm just betting that Seattle can score 2 runs in 5 innings off of Skubal. And if that happens, then we wind up getting a hit over this. I do very much believe that the Tigers will score 2 runs. They could score 4. I mean, Tigers could score 4 runs off of Castillo themselves and get over the 3.5. So that's the other way it may go down. Skubal's not going to give up 4 runs, I don't think, on this. But That's the play if you want to trail it or fade it or follow it. But I'm going over 3.5 in the first 5 for the Tigers and Seattle. Bet number 2. Speaking of dominant pitching, well, the Pirates are hoping that they get some offense today for Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens is 4-7, if you can believe that. He's got a 1.94 ERA. Joe Ryan's going on the other side here on this one. There's been some pretty significant movement on this, but you get plus money with Paul Skeens. It was plus 105 last night. It's plus 120 right now. Look, I don't know when the next time it's going to be that we get a plus money play on Paul Skeens. I don't know. But if you give me plus money on Paul Skeens, I'm going to bet on it nearly every single time. Like, I'm just jumping on it, okay? It may die. It may be a horrible play. Joe Ryan's been very good. We'll see how many starts Joe Ryan will make for the Twins. He's on the trade block at the moment. He's lost back-to-back starts, 7-5 to Tampa, 2-0 to the Miami Marlins. He beat Seattle 2-0, but it was not his fault. He's been really good in his last 3 starts. 2 earned, 1 earned, and 0 earned runs given up. We know what Paul Skeens is. I mean, we know every time he goes out there. Now they're letting him stretch out a little bit, but 1-0, 1-0, 4-2 in 2 of the last 3 games there, those final scores, he lost. Lost 1-0 to Seattle, lost 4-2 to Milwaukee. He actually was pretty bad in that game. 4 innings, 4 earned runs, but 1-0 against the Seattle, against St. Louis, won that game 1-0. He went about 88 pitches. We'll see if they let him go here and just say, okay, it's your last start before the All-Star break. Go and throw 90, go and throw 95 pitches and stay out of the bullpen. But this is, again, just a play on plus money. If I get plus money on Paul Skeens, I'm taking Paul Skeens. So plus 120, Pirates money line here on the road up against the Minnesota Twins. And finally, we're going to the Brewers. And this is a run line play for me with the Brewers. 1, they're hot. 2, it's Washington. 3, it's Mitchell Parker. Have you seen Mitchell Parker? Now, he has lost only 1 of his last 3 starts, but that snapped a 5-game losing streak. In those games, against the Red Sox, he gave up 4 earned runs. Against the Angels, he gave up 3 earned runs. Against the Padres, he gave up 3 earned runs. 10-3 loss, 7-4 win, 10-6 win. But the losses were 3-1, 11-9, 5-0, 3-1, and 9-1. He has lost when he has lost every game on the run line. And of those losses, there's 6 of them, 6-0 on the run line here for when Mitchell Parker starts with the Washington Nationals. On the flip side, we get Quinn Priester, who's been phenomenal. Quinn Priester the team hasn't lost a game started by Quinn Priester since the 24th of May. All of June and now here to July, all W's. The wins, 6-5, not the run line. 5-0, run line. 9-8, 3-2, not the run line. But 4-1, 9-1, 6-2, all the run line. He's winning the majority of his games on the run line. Quinn Priester is 6-2 with a 3.59 ERA, and at home, he's 4-1 with a 3.03 ERA. This, again, is plus money. You can shop around trying to find the best price on this, but I got plus money last night and get plus money on this, plus 105, plus 110, even money on the run line. Give me the Brewers. Brewers on the run line here today to win this game by more than 1 run. You can bet 1, and whenever I bet run line, you guys love to jump in the chat and say, why not bet -1? You can do that. You could do that if you want, but you know, I think, did I say Mrs. Parker? No, I didn't say Mrs. Parker. Did I? I apologize if I did. I wasn't trying to be rude. Just saying Parker's not good. Mitchell, not Mrs. Mitchell. Mitchell Parker. Not good. Brewers run line for us here coming up today for that. So 3 plays. We're going Seattle, Detroit over first 5. Pirates money line at plus money. Brewers run line also at plus money. I mean, this one's a little boring, and I don't mean to be boring here on this, but the BvB prop bet of the day, it's the same as yesterday because the game was rained out for Cleveland. So I'm just going to go and run it again. Cleveland and the White Sox today, right back at it. Same pitchers going today, double header going today. So the first game's at 3:10 Eastern time, game one. I don't like betting double headers, but I'm okay with this. Just Ramirez has been their best hitter, their only offense, and it's up against Shane Smith in the first game. So he at home has a 4.12 ERA, a 1-3 record, 18 earned and 39 innings worth of work, couple of home runs given up, 3 straight games with home runs for Jose Ramirez for Cleveland, over 1.5 bases. Same plays yesterday, different juice, but shop around and find it. Same with it. Jump on it. If you like it, jump on it. I think it's there. I think you can go. You might be better both games. He's been their best hitter. He's been their most productive hitter. And I think Ramirez will get going again in game one and game two. But game one's at 3 o'clock coming up against Shane Smith, right-handed pitching. And I would expect he's from Danvers, Mass. He's a local kid here, just about half an hour from where I'm sitting at the moment. But I will be watching this one for sure. I do think Ramirez gets it, though. Over 1.5 bases for Jose Ramirez for us today for the BvB prop bet of the day. All right, let's talk about the Circa Sports Pro Football Story of the Day. Again, the Ultimate Contest Weekend is happening on August 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. Room rates and packages available at circasports.com for the Ultimate Football Contest Weekend. The Millions and Survivor contests are open. You can enter in Nevada. You can hire a proxy, and you guys can play from anywhere. You must be present in Nevada, though, when you sign up. $6 million for Million. I feel like people are figuring out the little secret about Circa Millions because a lot of people are asking the right questions about this. There's been an overlay the last 2 years for Circa Million. Survivor has everyone's attention. Everyone wants to be in Circa Survivor. And I understand why. You pick one game a week, you got to go 20-0, but to pick that one winner, people think that that's a little bit easier to do that, to go 20-0 by picking one winner. You know, the 18 weeks plus Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and Christmas Day. But we're talking about $15 million in guaranteed money in Survivor. There's going to be over that. 16 million, 17 million. We're going to have over for Survivor, but we might still be under for Millions. That's still possible here with 5 picks being made against the spread each week. That both contests are $1,000 to enter, $6 million in guaranteed, $1 million first place prize in that coveted blue jacket for the Circa Million 7 signing up contest entries right now all the way into the September 1st weekend. 5 wieners. You guys coming back? I hope you guys come back with 5 wieners on this. It'll be cool to see you guys back in the contests here. So let's talk a little bit about fireworks for a second. Did you guys see this story with Najee Harris? Najee Harris was hurt, and he hasn't missed a game in his career in the NFL. Najee Harris has signed with the Chargers, a free agent contract with the Chargers. He sustained an eye injury on the 4th of July after a firework misfired in some form or fashion. The report is that the injury was, quote, superficial, and that Harris will be expected ready for the upcoming NFL season. But this is not good. The mishap resulted in numerous injuries, including one person losing fingers. We have seen this before. This can't happen. Like, this can't happen. In 2025, we cannot have athletes getting injured on the 4th of July. Like, this is no. Like, this is just no. If you're a Charger fan, you're like, what is going on? How does this happen? Your eyes. I mean, you could have lost an eye. It's a 1-year deal he signed, so he's not like a serious contender here on this team. Like, he could be cut pretty easily. They drafted Omarion Hampton in the first round out of North Carolina. So they already are invested in the guy that's going to be the bell cow. So yes, great point, Joseph Myers. Dude, has no one seen what happened to Jason Pierre-Paul? His hand's gone. His hand's gone. I mean, he lost 4 fingers on his hand. Like what are we doing? In today's world, stop playing around with fireworks. Like, I know it sounds easy just to kind of sit there and say it, but football players, like what, huh? Like, what are we doing? Stop fooling around with fireworks on the 4th of July. Pay somebody. You have a lot of money. You're a professional athlete. Like, this is like the back with like the DUI conversation. Like, get a driver, hire a driver. Don't drive yourself around. That's not smart. If you're going to drink, fine. Don't drive. Hire somebody to drive for you. Same thing with fireworks. I love fireworks. I'm a pyro. Blow things up. I get it. It's fun to blow things up. It's fun to light things on fire. I get all that. I get the fun. I get the attraction. What I don't get is you need your hands. You need your eyes. You need your body parts. You need it to be an athlete. You can't be a pro athlete unless you have it. And yeah, fine. Jason Pierre-Paul has managed to play football with a club hand. Okay. He's figured it out. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work long term to play like this. You're giving yourself a disability for no reason. Stop it. Like, stop doing this. Yeah, a lot to lose for 5 seconds of fun. Absolutely. That's what she said. So it's a whole thing. I mean, I don't understand. Yes. Downside, wildfires, personal injury. Upside, crappy cell phone video nobody will ever watch again. 100%. That goes for more than just fireworks too, by the way. So I'm going to Oasis. I'm leaving to go to Scotland, and I'm going to see Oasis. I haven't seen Oasis in 20 years plus. And I'm actually a little bit, I'm beyond excited. Let me just state that. I cannot wait. But I'm seeing the video from the first shows that happened in Cardiff on the 4th of July and July 5th. They'll play Manchester this weekend. I think tonight and tomorrow they play Manchester for the second leg of the tour. They play Cardiff, then they play Manchester, then they play London, then they go play somewhere else, and then they play Edinburgh, Scotland, where I will see them at the soccer stadium. Everyone's on their phone. Like, everyone's videotaping the concert. Do people realize that concert videos suck? Like, your own personal concert videos suck. Watching through the phone. Like, I don't get, like, if you want to take like a 30-second boomerang or like a clip that you put as part of like some big thing, like some video compilation that you put through, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I'll do the same thing. I'll do that too. I'll take pictures. I'll take quick video. But the guys who are like sitting there taping entire songs or even like the entire set list of who's performing. Do you ever watch that again? Do you know how many videos I have on my phone that I taped of things I thought I would watch again and I never watch again? On top of the fact that when you go to a concert, the audio sucks. It's bad. I mean, your phones aren't meant to handle a decibel level like that coming at you. So why do people do that? Like, why is that now a thing? If I was an artist, if I was somebody who performed and like traveled around, I literally would confiscate phones. I would try to figure out a way, like the Masters, like, you're locking your phone up. Like, you want your phone, we're locking it up. Like, bring in one of these watches, like, connect one of your watches or something. Like, you can't have your phone. I don't trust you with your phone because you're going to tape the whole entire time and you're going to watch the concert through your phone versus experiencing it and watching it. When I was at Taylor Swift with my daughter 2 years ago, there were these 2 girls sitting next to us from Japan. And I don't know. They're from Asia. I don't know where they were from, but they didn't speak English. And they literally took turns taping each other, lip syncing the song, and then switching the entire time. They just taped them lip syncing to Taylor Swift on video, and then they would switch. And that was the whole concert. I was like, what the heck is going on? I don't understand. Like, this is what happens now? I don't understand. Like I don't understand how it all works out. I don't know where it goes and how it goes. So this is a weird word. This is a weird time. This is a very strange time. Cell phones are awesome. Smartphones in movies. Whoa. People aren't. Well, that's a little more, Sonic says smartphones in movies are a bigger sin. One of the reasons I have no inclination to ever go to a theater anymore, dark theater than bright phone screens. Do you mean like looking at your phone, or do you mean like being on your phone? Because if you're taping the movie, that's illegal to tape the movie on your phone. Brandon Marcone's right. Comedians don't allow phones so they can repeat their material. Yeah, that too. I mean, I don't know. Like back in the day, I'm 48 years old, so you guys might not remember this, but like the Grateful Dead used to welcome people taping off their soundboard. The Grateful Dead started this very cool cassette bootleg sharing community. And then guys like Dave Matthews and Fish and these different bands, then Pearl Jam adopted it. A lot of these different bands adopted it, where there was a section that literally was there for bootlegging, was there for recording the concert. Like, you guys don't realize this. You young kids don't remember this, but because you weren't alive. But there once was a time that when an artist went into a recording studio to make a record is just another way of saying a recording, right? Recording spelled the same way, pronounced differently. But that's when you recorded a record, you went in there and you taped it with live instruments and human beings in the same room. It was a record of people recording music in a room. That's an Ani DeFranco lyric, literally. But that's what people used to do. This whole idea of like being on different parts of the world and like recording on different tracks and like never meeting the people that you perform the song with, that never existed. So like we have really taken this whole computerization and remote stuff to a whole different level. And going to concerts and taping a quote bootlegged video or whatever it might be, I mean, it loses a lot. Like the recording, Oasis put out a recording of one of their songs from the July 4th show at Cardiff already. They already put it out themselves. So they're like, screw you guys. You aren't going to go put out your bootleg version and stuff. We're going to put out an official version. We're going to tape it and we're going to put it out. That is better to me. Like, give me that recording off I want it off the board, and I want it with your microphones, and I want it with a professional recording setup so it sounds good. It sounds great in your ear or when you're driving versus some crackly thing. You kids don't remember tapes, but tapes were, they used to go ahead and hand things out. Ooh, Addison, new Deftones. Really? Today? I love that they're still playing. It's crazy. It really is funny. If you want to feel old, if you don't have kids, if you want to feel old, go in. Joseph T. Myers saying, I'm feeling ancient. I feel ancient right now. If you want to feel old, go into Hot Topic. Go into the store, Hot Topic, and go look at the band shirts, the band t-shirts that are on the wall. It's going to freak you out. You're going to go, these are all my bands. Why are all my bands on the wall? Why are all the bands that I listen to? Why are all these t-shirts for sale? Because they all are. My daughter's wardrobe right now is hysterical. Her wardrobe is Guns N' Roses, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Nirvana. Who else does she have? She loves My Chemical Romance. So that's kind of a tween in between me and her. She likes My Chemical Romance. But it's all like 80s and 90s grunge. Like her guitar playing is all 80s and 90s grunge. It's so funny. She has so many of these t-shirts. She has a Kiss t-shirt. What else does she have? She has a Bob Marley t-shirt. It's like the best proud dad moment of my life is that my kid is listening to all my music. It's tremendous. She's got 3 Nirvana t-shirts, Mikey. 3. Like she's a Nirvana nut. Now, full disclosure, my daughter has grown up in a household with I have an 8-foot by 8-foot mural painting of Kurt Cobain. So like it's gigantic. It's an original picture of him playing for the Unplugged in New York. That guitar setup that he has, it's this huge picture. So she's grown up with a poster of Red Hot Chili Peppers. She's grown up with all this, Mighty Mighty Bosstones, like all of my stuff. She's grown up with it. So it's not that surprising that it sort of like through osmosis seeped in, but she listens to all of, like, she's a 90s kid. Like my daughter wears Doc Martens and like baggy jeans. And like, she listens to Nirvana. Like it's a great proud dad moment for me to see it, but it is wild. She's playing The Offspring. Not only is she listening to The Offspring, Mikey, she's playing The Offspring. So yeah, I mean, all like it's crazy. Green Day. She just played Brain Stew at her performance. I forget which Offspring song she played. Oh, Self-Esteem. She just played Self-Esteem. She knows how to play that now on guitar. So it's wild. And that's what I tell her, Riccone. What's wild is that the 90s, that's our 60s. Because the 60s and 70s, when I was in high school, it was the 60s and the 70s. That's what we wanted to be. Everybody wanted to be, listening to Jimi Hendrix and listening to all the bands, the Grateful Dead and whatnot of the 60s and 70s. Well, now it's just the next cycle. Now it's these kids who are Gen Alpha, right? What my daughter is, Gen Alpha, are now all going back to the 90s. It's pretty cool. Yes, My Chemical Romance is a classic now, which is crazy, but yes, they absolutely are. Very good stuff. Hang on if you're live. Don't move. We'll have more on the other side. If you guys are with us on the replay crew, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. We'll have a full week coming up next week with me here in New Hampshire. For you guys who are on Sports Grid and Sirius XM, thank you. Talk to you guys next week. The rest of you guys, bonus time starts now. Yeah, I think it's so neat. I think it's so, as a dad, I think it's so cool to have my kid be into this music, to just be gung ho, playing it on guitar, but now wanting to go watch concerts and go with it. What is JNCO? What does that stand for? Guys know what it is. JNCO. What's JNCO stand for? Sorry that I don't know the answer to that question. JNCO. Who's that? Yes, 60s and 70s are still great. More bands doing trippy live performances. Yes, against green screens. Sure. What's Gene Company? Who's that? Wow. I feel a little bit. Oh, baggy pants. Into baggy pants. Oh, obnoxiously large jeans. Oh, that's my daughter. Without a doubt. Like, and she's also into the ripped jeans, like the obnoxiously big but ripped jeans. So like, yes, 100%. That's what my daughter is into. Oversized band t-shirts and ripped jeans and Doc Martens. Like, if you told me at 18 that your child would dress like that and listen to the bands that she's listening to, I think I would be like the happiest guy on the planet. I think I'd be like, well, fuck yeah. Good. Like, that's what my daughter is supposed to be. I mean, you guys got to remember, I got into this whole broadcasting thing because of music. I wasn't going to be a talk show host. I wanted to be a DJ. I wanted to be a rock promoter. I wanted to be, I wanted to be a roadie. That's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be on the music side. I didn't want to be on the sports side of it. I just realized what was happening like in the music side. Yeah, look, Chef Benny, don't get me started, okay? On the ripped jeans stuff, I can be the old guy yelling at the clouds like anybody else. I can absolutely scream at it, because to go and spend, $120 on a pair of Levi ripped corduroy, they call them 90s jeans. I'm not fucking kidding. It's the funniest thing in the world. We walked in, they're low-riding, oversized 90s jeans that they're called. I'm like, what the hell? Like, this is just bizarre. Like, what are we doing? Like, I didn't do the baggy jean thing. That wasn't me. I didn't do that, but that's just like, but my friends did. I had a lot of skater friends that were like that. I had a lot of friends that wore that stuff. I had a lot of, and almost all of them were emo. Almost all of them were straight edge. We're in like, if that's the direction my daughter goes, I'm down with it. Like, I'm totally excited about that. But that was always like the interesting part with so many of them, that like people would judge them for what they are. No, I did not wear corduroy. I did not wear corduroy at all. You think COVID had a lot to do with people recording remotely? No, I don't. I think it's technology, but it definitely pushed it fast. I think you're right about it had an impact. There's no way you could say it doesn't. I mean, look, maybe one of the more famous songs that was taped between two people that weren't in the same room was when Bon Iver recorded with Taylor Swift during the pandemic, and they taped it. They never met. They never met each other. They were never in the same room as each other. Taylor recorded her track in her apartment in New York City, and Bon Iver taped his part in his studio in Minnesota, I think it was. So yeah, I mean, that's 100%. Like, that pushed it forward. 100% pushed it forward. Yes, for sure. I didn't play our second fight song. We only played one fight song so far. My bad. Number 2. That's a fight song for UNLV. UNLV will play in week 0. And there are a lot of folks out there that are looking at UNLV. And this is from the Las Vegas Sun. Playoff in the forecast. There's a lot of people who are saying that UNLV, they're not going to shy away from those expectations given their schedule. They start in week 0 at home against Idaho State. We don't know the start of that game yet. They play at Sam Houston, but the big games are at home against UCLA out of the Big Ten and on the road at Boise State. The last 2 years, UNLV has played Boise in the Mountain West Conference Championship. Boise won that game last year. Boise was in the playoff. Could UNLV copy that? Maybe. They got her on the table. They're going to have a lot of help, but they've got Dan Mullen now. They've got a name coach. They've got someone who's going to be talked about if they continue. And Mullen has said, we're not starting over. We're not rebuilding. We are literally picking up from where we are and building on the next stop. We're going up a level. And they've got a lot of talent back on that offense. They've lost a lot of coaches off the offense and some players off the offense, but they've added a lot of players as well in the transfer portal. There's a lot of kids that want to go play in Las Vegas. I mean, it's an easy sell. Money talks, obviously, but it's beyond the money. You've got facilities. You've got all sorts of activities. You have concerts and games and, yes, gambling and nightlife to sell to a lot of the kids who are looking at transferring or going to UNLV. Could be a very interesting year. The Idaho State game, people are saying don't sleep on that because that's one of the better FCS programs, and UNLV has been known to stub their toe out of the gate. First-year coach, first game, difficult opponent. Be careful with that game out of the gate if you're UNLV. But if you get the win, then it's about UCLA. And if you can beat UCLA at home, you're at Boise State, beat Boise at Boise. Okay, maybe there is a conversation for them to be in the playoffs. I didn't think it was legit last year, but there were a lot of talk. There was a lot of talk about UNLV potentially making the playoffs, and then they got to Boise and got beat at home, and that ended that conversation. So maybe we get it this year, potentially get it this year with a run for UNLV. So 2 fight songs today, Iowa State and UNLV. We'll do 3 every single Friday. The third one will be as part of my favorite thing about today. But before that, news of the industry. News of the industry here for today. The FAIR Act failed to be fast-tracked and pass quickly. Dina Titus was one of the architects of this, and she tweeted yesterday, "The failure of the Senate's unanimous consent measure is not surprising. The Senate got us into this mess, and now it's time for both chambers to unite behind my bipartisan Fair Bet Act to ensure the average and high-stake gamblers do not pay taxes on money they never won. If we don't do this, more gamblers will move to the unregulated and untaxed offshore markets. More gamblers will not report winnings, and revenue and jobs will be lost, not just in Las Vegas, but across the nation. We will all be losers if the Fair Bet Act is not passed by Congress and signed by the president." The Fair Bet Act would move the 100% number of deductions you can take off losing wagers back to where it was previously, which was 100%. It's at 90% now because the budget bill was signed. Ted Cruz is involved in this. There's a lot. It's bipartisan support for this, but they did not fast track it. So it has to go through more traditional routes to get approved. And thus it's going to be a slower process for this to happen. And there's no guarantee that it's going to happen. There's no guarantee that the Fair Bet Act is going to pass. And now this is a big fear because you have to get it done before tax season, and you got to get it done before the end of the year. So we're here in July. They're not going to be picking this up anytime soon. They're on their break for the summer, and they'll come back to Washington. And is this really the pressing thing that people want Congress working on? That's the worry, that there's not a lot of people that are saying, yes, go and fight this, because of how many people are going to be impacted. Again, this is where the current bill says if you win $100 and you lose 90, you must pay taxes on that $10 that never was won. And that's the problem. Some people have called it unconstitutional. Some people have called it illegal. You can't do that, but they passed it. And until somebody takes it to court, as of right now, that's what's going to happen here. We're not going to be able to avoid doing this, where all gamblers, not just professionals, but everybody, when it comes to claiming gambling on your taxes and gambling wins and losses on your taxes. So there's a lot of anger going on here. There's a lot of people who are mad about what's happened, and the gambling community has been up in arms about this. I don't know how many people it actually will impact. I don't know the overall number. That's why I haven't made it that big of a part of the show over the last 2 weeks, because I don't think it's that big of an issue. But I do think to some, it's a gigantic issue. And to some people who have deep pockets, who gamble heavily, who are used to writing this off on their taxes, for them not to be able to do this is a really, really big deal. So it did not get fast-tracked in Congress. We'll see if the Fair Bet Act does get passed coming up this fall. But it's not going to be a quick and easy 1, 2, 3, get it off the books and go back to what it was previously. It's going to take some time for this to happen. And that's got a lot of people in Vegas concerned about it. And there's going to be a lot of talk about this going forward until the vote happens. And again, with everything going on in America, I don't know how big of a topic this is for Congress. But for certain members of Congress, it's a gigantic, gigantic story that we obviously will watch and cover for you guys. Favorite thing about today? Well, my favorite thing about today is the overwhelming number of you who have reached out thinking about Dave and asking about Dave and asking about what is going on with him and updates. You guys, I have tried my best to update you guys in the Discord channel. If you guys aren't on there, get in there, thebvbshow.com. I will try to update you guys throughout the weekend if I hear extra stuff. The latest with Dave, like I said at the top of the show, is that Dave is going to stay in Los Angeles for a while. He is going to be in the hospital until Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, sometime next week. Dave will be released from the hospital, and then he will have to stay in Los Angeles until at least the 22nd of July. So he's going to be there for a while. So this is why, when you guys raise money for Dave, and if you haven't raised money, you can go ahead and do that. It's on their website, same website that I just posted. You can go to thebvbshow.com and get the website and go donate to the Sherapan family and donate to the GoFundMe going on, because they have to stay in a hotel, and they're going to stay in a hotel. If he gets discharged on Monday, okay, well, Monday is what, the 14th? Yeah, Monday's the 14th. They'll have to stay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 nights in a hotel in Los Angeles. Like, that is not cheap. Okay. That is very expensive to do, and it's going to cost them thousands of dollars. Jessica's not working. I mean, it's really expensive to do all of this. So that's why we thank you so much for helping the Sherepans out. You guys raised nearly $35,000 for the family as they go through this. And, just so you guys know where the money is going, this is where the money is going for, obviously for food, for the family, which is there staying in Los Angeles, the kids in hotels. They're going to be there. I mean, they went there on the 6th of July. They went there, and they may not leave until the 23rd of July, if not later. So, a lot of stuff going on here. So, in my favorite thing is not my favorite thing about today, but it is our first Fight Song Friday that we're bringing back here. So we're going to pause the roll call Friday until Dave comes back, but this one's for him. So I know he's not watching the show because he does not have his phone. So in case you guys are curious, like somebody sent me a DM yesterday, a friend of the show who's been on the show before, and they said, "Hey, why isn't Dave tweeting? Should I be nervous?" And I said, he doesn't have his phone. So Jessica hasn't given him his phone. So that's why he's not on social media. He's on a, no technology. So he's not watching the show. He's not watching BvB. He's not doing anything. He's just resting and getting better. And they're trying to keep him away from all distractions and anyone's notes or messages or whatnot. So he'll get all of it once he probably gets out of the hospital Monday, Tuesday of next week. He'll be able to respond more. And I'm assuming you'll see posts from Dave coming up there. But just join the Discord. Thank you, Josie Myers. Appreciate you doing that. Yeah, you guys, again, if you want to join the Discord channel, you can do so. It's free. TheBvBshow.com. Direct link takes you there to our Discord channel. But it's behind me. Sherapan strong. It'll be there until Dave comes back. But it's a Fight Song Friday. Penn State for Dave. Thank you guys for being here. We appreciate you. I appreciate you for being a part of the program. We're back on Monday for another episode of the Bostonian versus the Book.